I was reading this review of Moby-Dick that was published in the United States Magazine and Democratic Review in January 1852, so it was not long after the book came out. And it is anonymous. People love being anonymous. Mr. Melville is evidently trying to ascertain how far the public will consent to be imposed upon. He is gauging at once our gullibility and our patience. Having written one or two passable extravagancies, he has considered himself privileged to produce as many more as he pleases. Increasingly exaggerated and increasingly dull. The field from which his first crops of literature were produced has become greatly impoverished. And no amount of forcing seems likely to restore it to its pristine vigor. In bombast, in caricature, in rhetorical artifice, generally as clumsy as it is ineffectual, and in low attempts at humor, each one of his volumes has been an advance upon its predecessors. While, in all those qualities which make books readable, it has shown a decided retrogression from former efforts. Mr. Melville never writes naturally. His sentiment is forced, his wit is forced, his enthusiasm is forced, and in his attempts to display to the utmost extent his powers of fine writing, he has succeeded, we think, beyond his most sanguine expectations. The truth is, Mr. Melville has survived his reputation. If he had been contented with writing one or two books, he might have been famous. But his vanity has destroyed all his chances of immortality, or even of a good name with his own generation. For, in sober truth, Mr. Melville's vanity is immeasurable. He will either be the first among the book-making tribe, or he will be nowhere. He will center all attention upon himself, or he will abandon the field of literature at once. From this morbid self-esteem, coupled with a most unbounded love of notoriety, spring all Mr. Melville's efforts, all his rhetorical contortions, all his declamatory abuse of society, all his inflated sentiment, and all his insinuating licentiousness. Typee was undoubtedly a very proper book for the parlor, and we have seen it in company with Omoo, lying upon tables from which Byron was strictly prohibited, although we were unable to fathom those niceties of logic by which one was patronized and the other proscribed. But these were Mr. Melville's triumphs. Redburn was a stupid failure, Mardy was hopelessly dull, White Jacket was worse than either, and, in fact, it was such a very bad book that until the appearance of Moby-Dick, we had set it down as the very ultimatum of weakness to which its author could attain. It seems, however, that we were mistaken. We have no intention of quoting any passages just now from Moby-Dick. The London journals, we understand, have bestowed upon the work many flattering notices, and we should be loath to combat such high authority. But if there are many of our readers who wish to find examples of bad rhetoric, involved syntax, stilted sentiment, and incoherent English, we will take the liberty of recommending to them this precious volume of Mr. Melville's.